camera comes over. Good. I think we're all over there. Okay. Hello, this is Jürgen with TechTalk, and this time we're actually in our new studio here today. We're slowly improving our studio day by day, and I'm pretty sure we'll be up there soon. And today, we're talking about technology and what's being used in people's businesses, and see what it's about. And today I have a guest here on our show. It's Mark Kolibas with
Trident Consulting.
Trident Consulting.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for coming.
You're welcome. Good
Anyway,
to see
good to see you too. So, what do you do?
you. Yeah, so I'm a business coach, and I work with small business owners, specifically helping them increase their revenue and profitability.
Okay, good. So, obviously, when it comes to that, I mean, you've been using a certain type of tools to assess.
Yeah, good question. So technology is super important, as you know,
Right.
and we use it in all different business models. So for me, when I came to market with Trident 15 years ago, I did everything kind of manually. I
Mhm.
first developed the revenue acceleration program, how I go and help a client achieve their objectives. But that was all done, like I had templates, doc files, Excel spreadsheets. I call that everything is kind of manual.
Everything's manual.
Everything was manual back then,
A lot of
so
work.
it was difficult to execute. I would say after 2 or 3 clients, and you're starting to scale your business, it's difficult to manage what I call the realm, doing it with a manual technique, if you will. So as business goes on, I transform. I transform my business model, and I use more technology.
Right.
And I'll give you an example to illustrate. So I have and use what we call a profit acceleration program. And it's a system. It's about 40 million lines of code.
Wow.
With an AI, a little AI engine.
Uh-huh.
And when I meet with prospective clients, I take them through a structured process. It's called a business assessment. And we do that by asking structured questions. So for example, maybe I'll go through 4 or 5 or 10 areas of your company from a marketing and sales point of view. I'll ask you a lot of questions, and I'll type in your information right into the program. It's like a nice GUI screen. You type the information in, and the system will calculate the pro forma increase in revenue, profitability, and valuation. And furthermore, it even puts together an implementation program. So when I'm working closely with the client, we have a schedule.
Right.
We have an idea of what we're beginning, how long each task will take, what the completion date is. Now just think about trying to do all that manually.
Yeah. So let's explain that to our listeners. So he mentioned, I mean, obviously you've been in the technical field for a long time too, so you have the terminology worked out and you know what it means. So when he talks about AI, that's artificial intelligence, which is very important nowadays. It's everywhere, including the camera right now that was watching us. This thing tracks our faces automatically. If you see it moving around, that's not a cameraman, that is the AI doing this automatically. And hopefully it's doing a good job. So the AI in your web interface in the program and allows you to basically analyze the information and then output a product and then show the customer what it's all about.
Absolutely. So it's
Right.
interactive.
Right.
You're engaged with your prospective client,
Right.
and you're having a conversation.
Right.
I'm not PowerPointing you. I'm not
Yeah,
going
that's
through
very boring.
a detailed proposal.
A slideshow.
We're just talking, having a conversation back and forth, talking
Right.
about you and your company. And the cool thing is, I have a little PC and software
Right.
is recording all that information for us.
Right.
And the little AI, for example, the AI is very powerful. There's about 120 different industries that we track in the software.
Okay.
So if we were to put in, your industry code, like say software services company or something like
Right.
that,
Right.
and when we go through your financials, your P&L, your balance sheet, things like that, the system, the AI will take a look at how you're performing, and it'll look at your gross margin and your net margin, and it'll benchmark it against industry averages.
Right.
So you may be above the industry, you may be at industry performance or below. So it's just giving us, real good business information, so we can further, pinpoint and conduct our, focusing on the areas where we want to make improvements.
Yeah, another thing to explain, you mentioned GUI. That's a graphical user interface. So that's been around for a long time, but many people don't know what that stands for. That basically means that you have a nice interface on the screen that looks pretty and is easy to use. And it's GUI is basically just like Windows. That's the graphic user interface. But so you're a strong believer then in the cloud, how to go online and have everything done.
I mean,
through that.
absolutely.
Right.
So professionally, I sold enterprise software to Fortune 1000 companies for 20 years, both as an enterprise salesperson and as a VP of sales, directing teams. And now things kind of moved into what we call SaaS software, software as a service,
Right.
or on the cloud. So instead of a business having to deploy a server, license software, implement the software, you can work with a company, you can work with an accounting company, a payroll company, the CRM company, like Salesforce.com. I think everybody heard of that.
Oh yeah.
To put your customer information in the cloud.
Right.
And that lowers your cost and provides you a whole nother set of benefits. So yeah, I'm a big believer in the cloud. And even for all the people out there, to back up your PC. We all use PCs, right? I mean, it's such a smart thing. You can click on an object now. You click on a button, if you will, and take all that data from your PC and put it on a cloud. So in case we had a hurricane, we had Ian a week and a half ago, right? If there is a disaster, a shortage, your PC gets destroyed, whatever reason, we can retrieve that important data from the cloud and get it back onto a new PC so you can go back to work. So
Yeah, exactly. Cloud, again, to explain that, cloud is just really a silly name for internet storage. That they just had some marketer come up with a name and it's stuck, and it's called a cloud, and that was it. And there are also different types of clouds. There's a hybrid cloud, all kinds of different setups where you basically you have a cloud that's just internet storage that's just out there on internet, or you can also have a hybrid cloud, which is something we implement quite often. So it means that you're not totally depending on the internet. So if you have a server, for example, your data stays still with you, but it's also on the cloud, synchronized at the same time. That's very important nowadays. For your application, everything is online. That's perfect. But if you're running a business, you gotta have your on data on premises
I
too.
have clients that we talk about that, strategies to manage your data, and a hybrid cloud is where everything is going, because a lot of companies have mission critical information,
Right.
and they kind of don't want to put it all on the cloud. They want to have some applications and data on the cloud, but other things they have behind their own firewall.
Right.
You can explain the firewall.
Well, yeah, a firewall basically is a traffic cop on your network. That's basically a traffic director. And it lets things in and out from your network that is good or bad, and depending what's going on, and it will influence how you run your business. So, firewall is very important to run. You run a firewall on your internet service and also on your computer, and we have much more advanced firewalls that filter out things. But it's very important for data, if you have an on-site backup, that in case of emergency you also have a local copy, because then you can get to that a whole lot quicker than you can from the cloud. Because in the cloud you have to re-download and everything. When you have an external hard drive, you just plug it in and you're good to go. Very important. But yeah, the cloud has been amazing of what it can do. And it's really transformed the industry, like you said.
Absolutely.
The software industry.
Yes.
As you see, as he mentioned, SaaS, software as a service, that's a big thing right now, because all companies are eventually moving over to the SaaS model.
Right.
We see that with Microsoft. We're now on the last version of Office, which is Word, Excel, and all these programs. That is basically a copy you can buy and install and own by yourself on your own computer.
Right.
After that, Office 365 and everything else is cloud-based only. So you're basically renting the software. You're renting the software by the month, by the year, whatever, which has its benefits, but also has its downfalls. Benefit is basically that you always have the newest software. You don't have to worry about, updating something. It's always the newest.
Yeah.
But it's an added expense. The cloud You know, it was when it first came about, as you remember, a lot of people jumped towards and say, "Oh wow, this is going to save us so much money." I don't think it's about saving money, honestly. It's about more efficient working and moving up in technology, how it's going to be working.
Absolutely.
You know?
You get to a company, an enterprise company, these global 2,000 companies, and if you buy on-premise software, you have to implement it. So let's say the software costs $1 million for the license. It costs 7 times to implement, so 7 million. But then you want to upgrade to the next release. It's a whole nother project and a big expense to get from release 1, let's say, to release 3, so you can take advantage of the new functionality
Right.
for your business. And I will say that a lot of companies did do some cost-benefit analysis
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
But to your point, I agree. I think it's cost neutral.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of benefits to being
A lot of
being on
benefits.
SaaS.
I mean, nowadays you have to be on it. There's no way around it. I mean, I just had one client that basically said, "Oh wow, we signed up with this, cloud-based software that runs our business now quite a while ago, and they're ramping up the costs. It's costing more and more every year, and they wanted to put it back to the old system." I says, "Well, that's impossible to do. I mean, you can do it, but you can never duplicate the same type of security on site unless you're paying a lot of money for it.
Right.
You're basically paying for that for these providers, and all of your data is being backed up and it's hosted up there, so you don't have to deal with all this stuff.
Right.
Very, very important. One thing I want to point out: if you're going cloud-based for your business, we always recommend 2 internet connections. So we recommend having 2 internet services coming into your office, and then having a dual router, which just tells it which modem to use in case one fails. So, because what happens if you can't get the internet, right?
Right.
You can't do anything.
And I haven't even, as a small business owner, I haven't even thought about that, so I
Right.
really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's for any business. Would you make that recommendation?
Any business that's based that has a cloud-based application.
Interesting.
And anything from law to medical to car repair shops, everything's online now.
I really appreciate it. I haven't heard that recommendation,
No.
so I'll make note of that one
So,
for sure.
Like
Yeah.
right here, we're running 2 internet connections, soon to be 3 actually. 2 hard lines, or actually lines going into the building from different providers. And then the third option is going to be a satellite dish,
Oh, okay. Yep.
in case everything fails. So we stay online all the time because we have to be ready for customers.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, that's very important. I mean, it all adds cost, but the benefits are really there. And
Oh yeah, you're operational. You're
Yeah.
24/7, 365.
yeah, so employees can't work, then you have to send them home. They won't be happy.
Yeah. Yes.
But again, cost. You never have to look at the cloud as being like a cost-saving measure. I don't think it is. It's just a more convenient way of doing things, and having less liability on your business part,
Yeah.
of having the things backed up and be compliant with the way they store the information.
Right.
That's a big deal right there.
I think there's other ways to mitigate costs too. If you are looking for software to run your business, back-end software, instead of buying different software from different companies, you can buy a platform or an enterprise system, if you will, where all the functions are already integrated. So you don't have to worry about the integration between different software providers, if you will.
Right.
But SaaS is here, it's here to stay, and I agree with you, the benefits outweigh the cost. And I don't think the costs are greater than the old model, they're probably about the same.
Yeah.
So it's really not a cost decision anymore, it's how do we wanna operate our business?
Right.
We wanna make sure we're 24/7, 365 like you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the software, if the software, they keep charging you more money over time, beautiful about the market, especially technology, it's a competitive marketplace. Another provider will come in with similar functionality for half the price. So Moore's law applies to software as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. We see that all the time. The competition is fierce out there for any kind of web hosting or virtual service. I mean, they just cost cutting everywhere.
brings the cost down
Oh,
for
yeah.
us. We get more capability for lower cost. So I'm
Right.
confident. You know,
Right.
cost is not going to be a big issue.
Right. Like you said earlier, if you have a business that, is, maybe you have 10 employees, and you might have just gotten hit by the hurricane, which I hope not, but you prepared yourself, you have a cloud-based backup, and in many instances, the way we can handle these jobs here is that even if you don't have any physical computers around anymore, you have one notebook, okay?
Yep.
That backup can be made into a running virtual machine online, basically a computer that runs on the internet. And you can get to that remotely and run your business from several machines
Right.
without having to have a regular server in your business that runs this application. Eventually, once you're back restored to normal business, you're going to want the server and put it back on there.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you can run purely off the internet, and it might be even good enough for you to run it indefinitely like that. Who
Yeah,
knows?
it's like disasters. If a geographical area is impacted with electricity or
Right.
other types of technology that we rely on, you're absolutely right. The cloud is the way to is a savior, right? I mean,
Right.
you're operational. You're not going to suffer if there's a disruption.
Right, right. Then, obviously there's always concern about, okay, security. Is it secure? If you pick a good company and it's a well-known company, it's very secure. They use the same kind of encryption as your bank would be using, or like the stock market would be using, or eBay or anything like that. It's very secure. But of course, the cost. But it's just cost. You're paying things differently. Instead of paying, a couple $100 for the software up front, installed on your computer and it's yours and it will never get updated. You're paying a smaller fee every month, and it's on your computer and it gets updated.
Exactly.
But yeah, I see a big benefit there. It really is. That's the way to go. And and you heard about metaverse, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's now the web 3.0,
Right.
according to Facebook.
Tell me more about, from your point of view, for the audience, the utility of the metaverse. Because I have mixed opinions. I'm an older guy though. I'm an old guy.
Yeah.
I'm old as dirt, but I have a different point of view. I love to hear about metaverse and 3.0 from your perspective.
Yeah, it is. Well, I'm not that young either. So I started with computers when we had acoustic couplers and dial-up.
Oh.
So I know bulletin board services pre-internet. So when I see how it's progressing now with Web 3.0, I can see that going in a certain direction, but it's not going to be as fantastic as everybody thinks it is. It's going to take a long time. So, my opinion is, when 3D televisions came around, everybody went out and bought a 3D television set. I didn't, because I don't like it. So, and then all of a sudden everybody would be sitting at home in front of the TV with using those silly glasses. And now, who has a 3D TV? Nobody.
Nobody.
All gone.
Gone.
All landfills right now. With the glasses.
I skipped that part.
So, complete waste of money and time.
Yeah.
And I don't think the VR, virtual reality with metaverse is going to be that bad, but it's going to take a while to get us there. And what this really is about browsing the web using a VR headset. We actually have two here in the shop. So we're using a virtual reality headset helmet, and they're trying to make them smaller, and eventually they're going to be basically almost like little glasses.
Yeah.
At that time, I will say yes, this is going to be a consumer product when people will use it. But if you have to put a big helmet on to go shopping at Amazon, I don't think that's going to work.
So you could have a surfing experience of Maui, one of the big waves, if you will. But my whole point of view,
Right.
I'd rather go to Hawaii
Yeah.
and have that live experience,
The real experience, of course.
than do it with the glasses.
Right.
That's kind of my point of
I
view.
mean, VR virtual reality is amazing for being able to look at products, and even before you go on vacation somewhere, like you can download Google Earth 3D, which you can go to Maui and look around and see if you like it before you even book a travel.
Yeah.
And then also, let's say you want to remodel your kitchen. IKEA has a really amazing VR kitchen designing software. You can walk around in the kitchen and even like interact, make eggs, and open the closets, the doors, and then also change colors. Put
Is it
different
voice
countertops on
activated,
it.
or you have to touch?
No,
on
you
it?
touch things.
Touch things. Okay.
Touch
Yeah.
things, but you walk around like in a showroom,
Yeah.
and it looks really realistic. I mean, it looks real.
Yeah.
After a while, you think you're standing in the kitchen. But everybody's moving towards that. For the industry-wise, with metaverse, it's about the online shopping experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be shopping for groceries using a VR headset. That's not going to be it. We're talking about you going into your car dealership, and actually Porsche is introducing that too now in major car dealerships. Is that you have a showroom sort of full of cars, the same model. You have a virtual room. You put on the headset. You can walk around the car just like the designers.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. You
Yeah.
just illustrated 2 or 3 examples in our life, day of the life, that provides a lot of value.
Right. So you can look at the car, sit inside, and you, oh, I don't like green, I want it blue now. And
Yeah.
change it right away and sit in the car and see if you actually like the size of it. And because virtual reality, the headsets, the quality and the resolution has become so high definition now. I mean, it's almost photorealistic. Sometimes you walk around and it's like, could this be real?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No, I mean the car experience is great. It saves. Imagine having to go down to West Palm Beach from here, West Palm Beach, drive an hour and 40 minutes to a dealership, and for whatever reason they don't have any of the stock that you want.
Right.
You know, the salesperson has
Right.
a bad day, and you're wasting a round trip 4 hours of your time,
Yeah.
and you're not getting the value from it. I mean, I'd rather be at my desk at work and take 10, 15 minutes and have that virtual experience.
Right.
Now, if I'm going to buy, if I'm in the buy mode,
Yeah.
I want to go there in
You
person,
want to see
right?
it, exactly.
But in shopping, yeah, to evaluate,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know, there are many different industries that benefit from this. They're actually using this already in manufacturing, obviously. They're going to be using this in doctors' offices. Let's say instead of the doctor having to explain to you what's going on with, some medical procedure,
Yeah.
you can put on the headset and you can see in detail an operation you might have to go through, and be a little more educated, which is a very good thing
Yeah.
going to the doctor. A lot of things like this. Video conferencing, big thing. Just imagine a scenario that we're thinking about introducing this to our clients, our legal clients, saying, okay, you need to do a deposition with a client that's not here. You
Right.
need, instead of having a video chat on Zoom, you provision a headset, you send them the headset in the mail. Okay, they're not expensive anymore. They can put it on, they can sit at you at a desk just like you're sitting here. But the interaction between people, because you can move your hands, it tracks your eyes, it's much more natural, than
Then Zoom, it's interesting. So you still kind of have a human element,
Yeah.
even though you're not physically in the
Right.
same location.
And that's what we all come back down to, the metaverse and Facebook, and basically creating an avatar, like basically a lookalike of yourself on the internet, which we've done that for years now in games.
Yes.
You have a person that you can make it look yourself, and then with the newest chat rooms, you actually get to take a picture of your face with a webcam, and it wraps your face around the virtual character and animates it.
So I have a question for you. Facebook just made a change on data, so everything you post on Facebook, they now have rights to utilize, like your photos. Is that what is that the strategy there? I'm just curious.
I don't know how much of a right they have. Obviously, I mean, in Europe, I know it's a lot more stringent.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really cracking down on privacy,
Right.
and they should be doing the same thing in America too.
I hope
actually.
so. I really hope we follow Europe in this regard.
Because we, here, sadly, we give out information way too easily, and because we think, oh, it's on the internet and it's fine. Well, you give out more and more stuff. So when you actually look at your profile online, how much you actually have given out over the years, you'd be surprised. But I'm not sure exactly what you were saying there. Is that something new I haven't heard yet about Facebook?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago,
About-
they
Okay.
allegedly, just from reading the
Yeah.
chat online, that now Facebook has rights to utilize your photos for other, whatever they want to.
Well, it's actually amazing. I know a lot of us, including myself, who actually reads through the legal jumbo
Yep.
that you actually when you sign up for a service.
Yeah, right. You read
so,
that.
So I don't read it. I mean sometimes I do, but you sign up for some kind of website, and they say, hey, there's this 10-page
Oh, yeah.
document. You scroll all the way down,
Yep.
and you hit OK.
Right.
That's what everybody does.
Exactly. Yeah.
Does anybody read that stuff?
No. I thought that you said you did read it.
No,
Sorry
no,
about
no,
that.
no. I
No,
don't-
one
I'm not
reads.
technical.
Everybody clicks on that.
Yep.
I agree.
And that means
legalese, right?
you just agreed on whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up to an extent, obviously, but still, yeah, it's dangerous. I think they need to rein that back in a little bit. But Facebook is like that, has been in trouble before, and a lot of websites, and it's not just Facebook we're talking about here, about sharing their information. And as you know, you are, all these free services aren't really free because you are the product. You are the one making the money for them.
Right.
It's about sharing your information with consumers, with companies. So,
It's just, it's brilliant, but think about 15 years ago when you go to the airport, or even 20 years ago, you would call an agency up, you would talk to a human being, you would
Human.
they would send you the tickets, and then you would go with your bag, and then someone would take your bag for you, right? And the whole experience was that the airport was doing a lot of the labor for your travel. Now you look at the workflow, you're going online, you're clicking, you're picking your seat, you go to the airport, you carry the bag to the security area. You pay more for that bag, by the way, you pay more for your seat. The whole thing is flipped around the other way.
Yeah.
And so technology has a ton of utility, but and I'm totally for technology. I mean, it's provided us so much value overall, but sometimes I wonder, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, here, at ACT, we do a lot of stuff, including website design, SEO, and stuff like that too. So, and finding out when we start offering this, actually learning about how website engines like Google track information online and follow the customer around, it's quite amazing. Because there's basically, almost like a list of the person, what their interests are, what they're not interested in, the age group, how much income
Absolutely.
level. Because we all have been probably surprised. It doesn't surprise me anymore, but you go and look up something on your phone. You're shopping for something.
Yep.
You type something on Google, and all of a sudden, Facebook or something else pops up with something similar.
Absolutely. So he's talking about, we call it marketing retargeting.
Mm-hmm.
Been a while, the whole concept, fundamentally, has been around a long time, but now we utilize technology like
Yeah.
Google, Facebook, are phenomenal with retargeting. And if you're looking to buy, let's say a car, we use a car example
Yeah.
again, and the internet, the provider, Facebook or Google knows that you are on a site looking for a BMW, and then all of a sudden, the BMW dealer spends a little bit of money on a retargeting campaign, and everywhere you go online that day, you have little ads pop up. It's like magic. And you're wondering why, how do they know
Why?
that I was looking for that BMW, whatever? But it gets back to, they're giving you another impression, and the more impressions you go from know, like, trust, and buy, it's a marketing strategy. And they're just putting that product in front of you again, and again, making it top of mind.
Mhm.
It increases your probability that you'll make a purchase.
Of course, and the
So
technology.
there's a real science behind this.
And the technology is getting more and more advanced and tracking you. It all started with the cookies. Everybody was always erasing the cookies a long time ago.
Yeah.
So, I gotta erase my cookies, which really is just a silly name for a text document that tracks where you've been to from previous website, but
Yes.
that's really limited. So we're way beyond that now. Because even phones track where you are.
Yes.
And they can tell you, okay, you're going to Walmart, and then something pops up from Walmart saying, hey, you want to shop something there? And that's going to get more and more targeted.
Absolutely. Like the cookies is just like the I agree.
Mhm.
Every time you go on a site nowadays, accept all cookies, we all click on that button.
Right.
We're not gonna read it and think about it.
Right.
And you're right, cookies were a big issue, 10 years ago.
Right.
You weren't sure you wanted to accept
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cookies.
yeah, everybody was afraid of it.
Oh.
But you know, it definitely changed. It's not really the whole way that works now is with you know, the tracking down the customer what they want. It's not really done through your regular computer anymore. It's done through your cell phone. Because for the industry, the cell phone was the best thing that came around ever. Because now you have a portable tracking device in your pocket.
Yeah, yep,
You know.
yes.
And you know, we got to go soon, but I would like to maybe talk a little bit about also when it comes to social media and like TikTok, for example.
Yes.
You know, are you using TikTok?
No, I don't.
Okay, good.
So my view on TikTok is that it's Chinese owned, and I don't want to provide my data to the Chinese. And I was talking to a marketing consultant here in town, a friend of mine,
Uh-huh.
and she quipped back to me, and I go, yeah, you're right. She goes, the Chinese already have your information.
Of course they do.
marketing.
Well, that's
So-
forget that idea.
Anyway,
Um,
why did you mention TikTok? I'm
Well,
curious.
TikTok is you know, I read up how the you know, how the engine basically works. An engine
Yeah.
is basically their program, how it knows what you're looking for. Because you know, in the old days, like on the old YouTube days, you went on YouTube, you typed in what you're looking for, and so okay, I'm looking at Porsche cars, something. You got all the videos about Porsche cars. Now we want to be extra lazy, and that's what they are basically counting on, is that you go to, like, say, TikTok or any of these places, and by the way, every other, like Twitter and the other companies
Yeah.
are adopting that model now too. Basically means that instead of you just typing things in, it learns from your behavior.
Yeah, yep.
So it's a AI, artificial intelligence engine. So if you're looking at something like TikTok, you got a video of a cat or something, a dog, most popular things out there. You play that on your phone. You look at it, and the more time you spend looking at that particular one, the more they know. Hey, this is an interest. I'm going to show them more content like that, and
Yeah.
more ads related to that customer.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
I mean, yeah, so, you know, back in the day, even 20 years ago, CRM, customer relationship management, had something called personalization. And that is, you want to track all this psychographic, demographic, behavioral information about that customer, what they're doing, where they're clicking, what are their interests. But now it's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like YouTube and all the major sites have this deep functionality. It's watching your behavior, and it's
Right.
beginning to say, okay, he likes cooking, and I know you like cooking,
Mhm.
right? Because
Yeah.
I've seen some of the things on
Yeah.
Facebook, right?
Yeah.
It's going to provide him more, you know, videos about cooking,
Yeah.
right?
That's not me cooking. That's my wife.
Oh, no, no,
I can't cook.
We have to give her the credit.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I look like this. No, it's really true. And I remember in the old days, the marketing thing has always been around for
Yeah.
long. It's just the technology has finally caught up to the point where
I agree,
it's
100%.
really amazing. Because back then, like the old TV days, you know, you used to have, you know, basically companies asking you what you're watching.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
They were actually physical paper. You know, you had to fill out, okay, you like watching this kind of stuff, and that's how they were able to get some information. Like, hey, these people are watching the show, they're not watching the show.
Absolutely.
And
You
now
know,
it's all
and they still
electronic.
do. It's still a big industry, slowly, you know, dying, being disintermediated. But yeah, it's
Mm.
a mature model there. They
Right.
did that way back. Oh, what's the big service that did that? Watches everything. I forget, but there was a major provider in the market that
Yeah.
manages all that information.
Yeah,
for
I know
TV.
what you're talking about.
And then
Nielsen ratings. or
Yeah,
something.
there you go.
that's
Nielsen,
what- yeah.
Nielsen ratings. They're
Yeah.
doing a sample of audience and what they're
Yeah.
watching.
Uh-huh.
And then, by the way, that impacts the advertiser and the fees they charge for commercials. Everything is integrated and related. Day parts,
Yeah.
what type of people, you know,
Right.
male, female, age, location,
Right.
and then that provides the advertisers a notion of where do I want to put my ad. So
Mhm.
even there was science even in TV, but now and the internet, online, it's just a whole nother level.
Yeah, and all these industries
time.
now are all talking to each other. you know, that's
I-
how to get the customer.
Well, that's probably a whole nother segment we could do on big social media,
Yeah.
the pluses and minuses
Yeah.
of big social media. Maybe we can
Well,
do that for your audience in
Yeah,
the future.
we're running out of time, but I think we're gonna have another show here, because this was a very good conversation here. So anyway, thank you for coming on, Mark.
Thank you.
When it comes to your business business name is?
It's Trident Consulting.
Okay.
And I have a program called the Revenue Acceleration
Mhm.
Program. Work with small business owners between 1 million and 20 million. And then I also work with CEOs of mid-market companies, companies between 25 and 100 million. Part of my practice is focused on SaaS software companies, working with CEOs that want to accelerate revenue and earnings.
Mhm.
And I would tell you the market's even segmented a little bit further. Like you're an example, you know, there are guys and gals in their early 30s, early 40s that want to grow and scale their company.
Mhm.
So that's one segment of my market, helping them grow and scale the company methodically to maximize revenue and profitability. And the other is the baby boomers. Baby boomers more interesting. There are business owners my age that want to sell the company and retire, and the big issue for them is valuation. So
Bringing up the valuation.
yeah,
make
let's
some
bring
money.
that multiplier valuation up.
Right.
So I'm having fun.
Good.
I think I add a lot of value, and I enjoy working with my clients.
Wonderful.
And thanks for the opportunity to talk with you.
You're welcome. And how do people get a hold of you?
Well, yeah, so my website is, well, I'll give you my phone number, 717-925-5625. You can email me at mark@revenuegrowthprogram.com.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, and we'll put that on the links too on the
Thank
podcast.
you.
can see
Yeah,
that.
appreciate
Okay.
that.
Well, anyway, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Bye now.